Stop. Look around you. Notice how many things your body is in contact with right now. Imagine how many germs reside upon those surfaces. And after touching your cell phone or your desk or the door handle, you go and touch your nose, eyes, mouth, all sources of potential sickness.
And the human immune system plays a vital role in the human body. It protects us from disease and infections, and without it, results would be fatal to the human population. And with long-distance space travel becoming more imminent in our future, both for astronauts and possibly for civilians, it would be important to know how our immune system would react to space travel, correct?
Well, NASA is doing just that. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration decided to try and figure out just how space travel would affect the body's ability to protect itself against viruses and bacterial infections.
And with such an important topic at hand, NASA started to carry out a procedure that is now an integral part of the space program and to our possible understanding of the future. That is the validation of procedures for monitoring crew-member immune function, also referred to as integrated immune.
Oh, that makes sense.
There are 3 sections to the Integrated Immune Project: pre-flight, in-flight, and post-flight. Pre-flight consists of a battery of tests, such as saliva and urine samples, and an initial quarantine period of about 1 week to ensure that the crew members are fit and in good health for their mission.
As our friend Dr. Warren explains, quarantine is essential and most important event in pre-flight.
We have a thing called quarantine. So before the astronauts go to launch to space, and we did this in Apollo 2 actually, we try and minimize the number of people they come in contact with. So for about a week or 2 before, we start to limit the exposure to other people, and that limits chances of getting exposed to a cold or a virus.
Once pre-flight is completed and everything is in place, launch status is a go and the astronauts are hurled into orbit. And a fun fact of the day, the energy released by 3 of Rocketdyne's Space Shuttle main engines is equivalent to the output of 37 Hoover dams. While up in space, the crew collects saliva and blood samples. These samples are then frozen at oftentimes below 100 degrees Celsius and later sent down to Earth for testing. They also catalog their daily lives for research purposes. This includes eating, sleeping, contracted injuries, any bodily secretions. I think you get the point.
Now, can anyone guess what some complications might be pertaining to the freezing of blood?
Let's have Dr. Warren explain this one for us.
Freezing blood does damage some aspects of the blood. Very often the blood cells themselves lyse or burst when you freeze them. So depending on what you're looking at, you may not want that to happen. And you mentioned 48 hours. We actually had an experiment called Integrated Immune, in which a requirement was that the astronauts would draw that blood within 48 hours of returning to Earth. And that blood would be kept ambient or room temperature and returned to Earth. And I think what the PI, or the researcher, told us is that within 72 hours, that blood was still viable and he could extract information from it. And after 72 hours, it started to decline in quality.
Immediately following the crew members' return to Earth, each member goes through the same procedures performed in post-flight so that they can compare how healthy they are before and after the mission.
They take a look at many factors ranging from bodily samples to environmental factors, which reveal any changes to the immune system. Scientists also take a look at the samples collected in space so that they can determine what has affected their immune system while in flight.
NASA's research on the immune system and how it is affected in space is a continuously developing program that is yet to be completely solidified. These missions with the integrated immune are just the tip of the iceberg.
That's so true. And NASA continues to learn more and more from this program and the data collected from its experiments. This is only the beginning of their efforts to understand our bodies and the effects space has on them. We shall surely be seeing more of integrated immune in our future. Thanks for watching.